Hello, who are you and where are you from?
Hello, hi, I'm Patty Huff. I live here in Everglades City. I lived here for almost 30 years.
Wow. And what do you do?
I'm actually retired, but I'm president of our historical society. So right now we're working on various projects. The primary project is trying to rehabilitate the old Bank of the Everglades building and to make it our Everglades City Visitor Center and Trail Town headquarters.
And what are you retired from?
I was the newspaper publisher here in Everglades City. I started the Mullet Wrapper around 2001. I passed it on to someone else in 2016. Prior to that, I was a financial advisor for Raymond James and Associates in Marathon, Florida. And before that, I was an administrator at Vanderbilt University Hospital. And that's where I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee.
Well. And then, so what about, has the climate changed much since you were a kid?
Yes, well, I grew up in Nashville, so at that time, I experienced snow and rain and a lot of things that had happened just in the South. I moved to Florida in 1984, so since I've been here, I've noticed quite a bit of climate change just recently, like everybody has experiencing the extreme heat that we've been having here and the length of time we've had the very warm weather.
Yes, because you'd have hot spells, but not for weeks on end.
Yeah, this has been an unusual year, and like it has been throughout the country. But even, I remember 2 years ago I was cycling we tried to cycle from San Diego to Jacksonville, and we experienced some extreme heat in Arizona, 128 degrees, and so at that time I felt like it was starting to get very hot too.
And so what about on an everyday basis? Do you think about climate? Are you concerned about climate? Say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most concerned, where would you put yourself?
Probably around 9 or 10. I think the other thing I'm concerned about is the sea level rise. More than anything, I've seen it. Here in Everglades City, I've lived on the river, like I said, for almost 30 years here, and so we've noticed the water coming up. And now when we have these high tides, it's actually flooding into our yards. And then if we have the hurricanes, we're experiencing a lot more high tide and actually flooding in our house for the last 2 hurricanes. So that seems to be affecting us a lot.
So you've had flooding in your house and for Irma and Ian.
Yes, correct. It was about 12 to 15 inches in Irma and just about 4 inches in, in Irma, yes, and about 4 inches in Ian. And we did not have any flooding this last hurricane a couple of weeks ago. It was just about a foot flowing through town. But that was also kind of unusual.
And a foot, that means the main streets were all flooded.
They were all flooded. Yeah, it's like a river flowing through town. Kids were out in kayaks and canoes. So
there's a lot of homes on stilts here, and I understand after the 1960 hurricane, Donnie or something?
Donna. Yeah, Donna was 1960. Yeah, and that did flood into like City Hall, into this area. This last hurricane too, it did bring a nice 12-foot gator into our yard and the heron, so we had a lot more wildlife swimming around with just a foot of extra water. My house is about 3.5, 4 feet high, so we have to be concerned if it gets up, higher than 4 feet here.
Wow, is there a feeling of vulnerability in this part of the world?
There is, I'd like to say we're kind of getting used to it, but it's not happy. We have not decided to, ours is a 1920s home, so we haven't decided to actually raise the house yet, but we may have to do that if we experience many more of these, so it's definitely affecting us.
And I've been asking a little bit about insurance also.
Yes, we had decided about 25 years ago to be self-insured because the policies premiums were getting higher and higher, so we just have to take care of it ourselves now.
Wow. And So lastly, what about the future? Are you optimistic or pessimistic, and is there anything we can do about it?
Well, unfortunately, I'm pessimistic about it. I worry about with my grandchildren, what they're going to be experiencing in the next 20 years. It's so hard to know what to do about it. I feel like everybody has to do as much as they can of their own part, to listen to any suggestions we have to improve the environment so that we can live with the environment and that we're not adding to a lot of the problems with the climate change.
And so you're not optimistic?
I mean, no, I'm pessimistic about how climate change is going to be affecting us and how things are going to have to be in the future. And I'm not exactly sure what the answer is, what we can do about it. I wish we did know.
Okay, very good. Hey, thank you very much. Here on the 10th of September, this is my last interview for the story cycle, America's Coast and Climate Crisis. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and good luck with your cycling.
Thank you.